And let's bring in Seth Kaplan now. He's managing partner for Airline Weekly, and we're also joined on the phone by an A320 pilot, Laureano Bello. He's been flying this kind of plane for 4.5 years. Laureano, let me ask you this. Do you think it's unusual for a pilot to perhaps try to go above the bad weather instead of around it? And I'm not saying they did, it's just that's an early indication.
With my experience and knowing the A320, I wouldn't go above that type of cloud. Standard procedure for us is to avoid the cloud and basically put in the hardest part or the strongest part of the storm, trying to have a 20 nautical mile gap. So the practice of going above it, it's not what we do. There's many reasons. Aerodynamics, the amount of power that the engines can produce, and with the amount of passengers that they had, they probably were pretty heavy, so they were basically at the limit of the aircraft. So I would probably do is basically go around the weather.
Mm-hmm. All right, Seth, let me ask you this. What do we know about this airline? I mean, of course, we always want to look at the aircraft, but sometimes it is the airline itself. What do we know about the airline?
Yeah, well, perhaps best summarized in a cover story we ran, actually, the first time I interviewed Tony Fernandez, the CEO, back about 9 years ago. And I actually just looked back now, dug that up, and the headline was the Southwest of the Southeast. So at that time, a very small airline with grand ambitions, basically trying to style itself after Southwest Airlines, a friendly, simple, cheap, but safe airline for its part of the world. And that's what AirAsia has done, has grown since that time into a rather large airline. For perspective, about the size of, say, JetBlue or Alaska Airlines in the U.S. Not one of the largest in the world, but a sizable airline, and one that's had an excellent safety record until now, one that Americans, particularly, say, backpackers who head to Southeast Asia and like to hop from one island to the other, they know it. And business travelers increasingly have depended on it as well, particularly with the woes of Malaysia Airlines, people looking for other options. And certainly AirAsia has often been one of them.
Laureano Bello and Seth Kaplan, we're going to continue the conversation with you a little bit later. Thank you both for joining me at the moment.